my name is ARFA ZULIFQAR. I do belong to Okada. My father, Mr. Zulfiqar Ali, is a lawyer, while my mother is a homemaker. As far as my educational background is concerned, I have been conferred a degree of Bachelor's in Arts from University of the Punjab in 2021.
ADP की है?
Yes, sir.
ADP?
Yes, sir. Associate degree program in 2021 with a gold medal in English, and currently I am a final year student of law from University of the Punjab as well. My hobbies are participating in debates, playing chess, and reading fiction.
How many marks in BA?
Sir, 596 out of 800.
And in English?
154 out of 200.
Tell the tehsils of Okada and important personalities.
Sir, there are three tehsils of Okada city, Depalpur, and Ranala. Important personalities include Mia Manzoor Wattu, who is a famous politician, Zulfiqar Babar, who is a cricketer of Pakistan international team, and Rao Sikandar Iqbal, who used to be the former defense minister of Pakistan. What are the Machiavellian idea about ethics and morality? Ma'am, Machiavelli believes that morality at a personal level is fine, but in statehood, every state should maintain two main objectives in front of it, that is acquiring a state and maintaining a state, and morality should not be used as an excuse in weakening the state's perspective, and a state should never consider morality as its weakness. It should always use morality and religion whenever they become its interest and they work in its favor, but morality at any point should not be let to become a weakness of a state.
What was John Locke's model?
Sir, John Locke has written a book, two treatises on civil government. John Locke's view on state of nature is that state of nature was blissful, was good, and was of mutual assistance. And with the passage of time, people needed to protect their liberty. For that matter, they entered into two agreements, which are called Pactum Unionis and Pactum Subjectionis, and that is why John Locke is known as the father of liberty, fraternity, equality, and pursuit of happiness.
Which country's constitution was based on it?
Sir, the Constitution of United States of America has this Declaration of Independence based on John Locke's model.
Name two books of Plato on different topics.
Sir, firstly, Plato has a book Republic, and the other is The Laws.
I told you on two different topics. What was his book on love or nature of love?
I'm sorry, sir, that I do not.
Have you heard Platonic love?
Yes, sir. I have heard the term Platonic love.
What is in which book he mentioned this?
Sir, that I am not aware of. I'm sorry.
The Symposium. Okay, compare the philosophies of Aristotle and Plato technically.
So, firstly, there is a painting which is known as the School of Athens, which was drawn by a painter called Raphael. That painting is the most striking difference which can be depicted between Aristotle and Plato. In that picture, it can be seen that Plato is pointing upwards to show utopia, and Aristotle is pointing downwards to show dystopia. That pointing, which is known as the School of Athens, shows the difference between Aristotle and Plato, that Plato believed in an ethical concept of state. Plato believed in an ideal concept of state by the rule of philosopher king, where there should be justice, there should be a system of education, and there should be a rule by a philosopher king. But Aristotle, on the other hand, believes on the theory of empiricism, that every rule should be based on constitution. It should be a rule by aristocrat, but a rule for the favor of people.
What about Ibn Khaldun's philosophy?
Sir, Ibn Khaldun has given a good many philosophies. One is in his book Muqaddama, we can found his philosophy of Asabiya, or social cohesion. By Asabiya, he means that in a society, through religion, people can derive the force of cohesion, which can unite them and which can make them strong. And with the passage of time, if people start losing Asabiya because of lust for power, or their lust for statehood or control, they start losing Asabiya, and that is how the governments keep changing. This theory is also known as rise and fall of nations, or other theories by Ibn Khaldun are the physical theory, the state of, the rise and fall of nature, where he believes that every state has exists for 40 years. There are three phases of 40 years each, which makes the age of a state 120 years in total.
Okay, what about communism?
Sir, communism is a theory which believes in a classless and stateless society. Communism is the father of communism is Karl Marx, who believes that the ultimate objective of any state is to develop a classless society where there should be no differentiation on the basis of economic stability, economic differentiation of people among them. Also, communism also believes in that every state, by the with the passage of time, has to wither away because there would be dictatorship of proletariat. They would rebel against the dictatorship of
What
bourgeois.
is the opposite of proletariat?
So it is bourgeois. The people who have the control of wealth and resources in society are known as bourgeois. And the very reverse of this concept, the people who do not have the control over resources and wealth in a society and who are dependent on bourgeois class are known as proletariat.
What do you know about Shimla deputation or Shimla?
So Shimla deputation, 1906. Shimla deputation was a delegation of 35 Muslim leaders under the leadership of Sir Aga Khan, who met the Viceroy of India in order to convey them the grievances of Muslim population.
Okay, what do you know by poor or bad governance regarding public administration?
So governance is basically the art of implementing the public policies within the limited required available resources and in limited time. So governance, according to the model which is given by the World Bank about governance, the bad governance is something which does not respond, the policies which cannot be implemented on time. There is a lack of responsive nature of government. There can be a lack of training or ill-trained street bureaucracies. There can be failure of states to implement the law and order situations, and there can be lack of accountability of the state institutions that can ultimately lead to a lack of social consensus between the political parties.
What are the methods to solve a problem? The stepwise what you studied.
So firstly, there is to be identification of the problem, which is followed by implementation of identification of problem, then formation of a public policy. That policy is supported by.
Taking stakeholders also,
I'm sorry, sir.
taking stakeholders also in one
Yes, sir.
page.
Thank you. Firstly, we need to identify a problem. Then we understand which state institutions or stakeholders the problem would involve or the problem solving would involve. Then a policy is to be formulated. That policy is then analyzed and that policy is then implemented. After the policy achieves its function or the duration is completed, the policy is then terminated and the results are to be formulated by them. Constitution and federalism. And federalism is a form of government in which there is a federal government at the center and there are federating units which can be known as provinces. Such a system is implemented in Pakistan currently. Constitution, on the other hand, is a document which is a set of all those regulations and rules which define the duties and roles of the state institutions and the division of powers between various state institutions, being government, executive, legislature, and judiciary. Ma'am, liberal world order is firstly based on democratic form of government. Then there should be obviously an upholding the principles of liberty, equality, fraternity. Then the liberal world order talks about fundamental human rights and the safeguard of human rights in state institutions. In liberal world order, the countries basically try themselves to get identified as welfare states where they try to provide free education, health, and food services. And in liberal world order, United Nations plays a very important role because it, through its charter, it tries to maintain peace and security in the international global world. Ma'am, they are different. Liberal world order is the nature of the order, which I have just explained in front of the esteemed panel. The new world order is, by the time, is a modern world order, which is which can be compared with the old one. But liberal is the nature of that order. That new world order is a liberal world order that can be said to differentiate them.
What is the relation of India on democratic level is different from Pakistan?
Ma'am, with Pakistan or ma'am, firstly, India and Pakistan have been having distrust in their relationship since the very start. Of there are many issues. One of the issues being Kashmir issue, and for that matter, India and Pakistan have been shaking hands with clenched fist over this issue. Both of the nations have inflated their defense budgets and have involved themselves in an inflated arms race, and there have been a plethora of this arms race in the modern scenario just because of the threats both of the nations have from each other, and the relationships between these two countries has converted South Asian region into a nuclearized region, and the Kashmir has been regarded as the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous places of the world because of the sensitivity of the problem and the sensitivity of the issues which exist between India and Pakistan.
Okay, what are the characteristics of third wave of feminism and who started it? And what about the current wave of feminism?
Sir, the third wave of feminism was started by Anita Hill case, which was a case of sexual harassment against a famous personality whose name I can't recall, but it was a case about sexual harassment as well. Anita Hill case around 1990s can be marked as the start of or the onset of third wave of feminism. And after the onset of the third wave feminism, 1992, the year 1992 was regarded as the election year of the women because the Senate of United States of America had 11 women elected and 24 in the lower house of America. Uh, uh, the important personalities of the third wave and the wave which is currently going on is, I believe, sir, it is the fifth wave of feminism which is going on currently.
Who is Shashi Tharum?
Sir, Mr. Shashi Tharoor is a former Indian diplomat, bureaucrat, and Indian civil servant. He is also member of Lok Sabha, the lower house of Indian Parliament, since 2009. He has also served as the Under Secretary General of United Nations till 2006, and he also ran unsuccessfully in 2006 for the Secretary General elections, but he lost to Mr. Ban Ki-moon, who is from South
Why
Korea.
do you like him?
Sir, firstly, he is a very charismatic personality. His oratory skills are exemplary. He is a very good and seasoned speaker. Secondly, sir, I like the leadership skills he has. He has been the Under Secretary General of United Nations, which is an important post. He has been making India proud for so long a time, and he also ran for Secretary General. He has lost a lot of elections throughout his life, but I like his zeal and zest and perseverance he has as a personality, that he always tries to go on. Even after seeking retirement, he is still serving as the Minister of Standing Committee of Chemicals and Fertilizers in India. He is elected member of Lok Sabha from Trivandrum in India, which is in Kerala, and he is an agile character altogether.
You can also change this personality to Antonius Guterres.
Sir, I would not. I do not think that Mr. Antonio Guterres is a constructive personality. He is playing his part, I acknowledge respectfully, but his personality is not that impactful as is of Mr. Shashi Tharoor.
What is educational profile of Shashi Tharum?
Sir, he has pursued a degree of law from Fletcher Schools of Law in Tufts University, and he has also been the speaker of Henry School of It. He has been a remarkable speaker there.
What
Thank
about
you.
these 40 rules of love?
So 40 Rules of Love is written by Miss Elif Shafak, who belongs to Turkey. This book is about the 40 rules who were given by Shams of Tabriz and his companionship, close companionship, which he was involved in with the Jalaluddin Rumi, who has been a famous poet in history. So this book has a light story, but the gist of this book are those beautiful 40 rules which have been given by Shams of Tabriz, and they revolve around the golden principle which every man should keep in his or her mind during this life, how much time is important, how good and bad times can be spent, and how to be hopeful, how to spread love. All the book revolves around all these positive things, and that is why it is among the one of my favorite books.